Hey everybody, it's Coach Sam. I'm going to throw my name up on this screen, and we're just going to wait for a few guys to gather. It looks like we've got 23 guys here, and as we go, in fact, why don't you guys start by saying, hey, what's your name? Where are you from? Why are you here? What do you really want out of this? We're going to be talking about grounding and embodiment and give you some practices, and we'll be able to get you started. So go ahead and say hi. By the way, also on the call, I've got two guys who have taken the energetic embodiment. Hey, Jim, class that we did the workshop, the 6-day monster workshop that we just finished a few days ago. So we'll have students who are going to be able to help out and give their perspectives on what's going on. Energetic, that's right. We got Jim Salmon. Hey, Jim. Kirk from Mississippi. Good to see you. Someone is typing in wise guy. Who's wise guy? Oh, hey, Daniel from Virginia. Awesome. All right, good. And Frank. Hey, Frank. Good to see you on here. All right, well, we're at 26 guys. I think that's plenty to get this thing going. Before we start, we're going to be talking about grounding, what it feels like to be grounded, what it feels like to feel yourself connected to the earth, to be natural in your body, to be embodied. We're going to go into a lot of that detail. But before we do, I want to know, BJ, what's happening, man? Before we start, I want to know a little bit about, just throw out a few ideas of what you want to work on right now. What part of your life do you need a little help in? So just throw, oh, hey, Becky, that's Brian's sister. How you doing? What part of your life that you, why are you here? Why are you here? Give me just a few, just give me all right, well, Luke from Montreal, hey, man. So let me know what you guys want to talk about, and we'll talk about those in the context of embodiment and grounding. Fabian, good to see you. So, all right, Devin, not Devin, connecting with women through my eyes. Okay, we're definitely going to get into that. My eyes get tight and it feels like I'm straining. Sam from Australia. If, hold on, I just heard my video is blurry. Let me see if my camera needs a little cleaning. Maybe that's it. So let's talk about why we're here. Talk about energy and embodiment. Now, we just had a 6-day workshop. Once you take the 3-day experience, that's the starter workshop. We do that about once a month. There are a variety of advanced workshops that you can take, from revealing to learning how to feel and welcome and release feeling in the body. We have the big 2-week double, which is an dating intensive. If you guys know about the model work we do, I'm sure you do, that it's like 5 hours a day. It's really, it's like boot camp for your emotional soul. It goes deep. And now we also have a sex workshop, which is helping to feel your sexual energy, not just as, having sex, doing the deed, but also how to feel and that energy that runs through your body so you can create things, you can find your passion, you can really connect deeply. It's a very grounded, clear, powerful energy. And now we just had our workshop called Energetic Embodiment. Now, what is energetic embodiment? We all too often, because we're human beings, live in our heads. We live with an understanding of the world. We can see. We are, as one of my mentors said, we are not. Dogs know that they're in the room. Human beings know they're in the room. But human beings know that they know they're in the room. Dogs don't have that awareness. Because we have this awareness, we it's like our energy can get squeezed up into our understanding brains. I'm sure everybody's had this sensation when you are you come to a workshop, right? You learn all this stuff, and you leave the workshop, and you have that post-workshop high. Like, oh my God, it all makes so much sense. I took all these notes. I review my notes. And then a week or two later, the whole thing kind of falls apart, and a month later, you wonder, well, what happened? It's because you were ingesting things through your head. Now, your brain is really, really good at certain things. It's really good at adding up and planning, and especially setting intentions. Because unlike the dog, we can imagine how we want our lives to be. A dog cannot do that, or any animal can't do that. So because we have this awareness, it's very powerful. I point to this area of my head because this is our, the third eye, the sixth chakra. And by the way, we do use the word chakra, but I want to demystify the terms. Really, these are energy centers, whether it's here, whether it's in our throat, whether it's in our heart, fifth chakra, fourth chakra, third chakra is your stomach, and so forth. So we have this ability to plan and see. Now, to make real change in the world, in our world, all this awareness has to drop into our bodies, which is why when the experience it's called the experience because it is highly experiential. We do talk, but it's only to give context to the practices and the tension that we put your bodies through. When you have that sort of and learning, as your body learns, this is where your subconscious lives. Now, let's just review the subconscious. It's something that we cannot see or feel or hear, but 99%. By the way, guys who are putting stuff in the chat, we're going to have to go back. If you have any questions, we're going to have to go back and review them, but I will take questions afterwards. So 99% of our choices in our world are subconscious, even what we think. We think we are free thinkers, but even our thoughts are based on something deep, something buried. The difference, now we're talking about emotions, right? And we're also talking about feelings. Now, what's the difference? A feeling is a sensation in the body. It is a feeling. It's just a feeling. Emotions are the words that we put to these feelings. These are emotions like sadness or fear or anger. Our concepts is a way for our brains to wrap around, say for grief, a heaviness in our chest, the feeling of the welling of tears that comes up through our throats and out our eyes. We gave this feeling the word grief. We'll call it grief. So once you start to feel deeply into your body, then now this is where you can actually get in touch with your subconscious. And this is where real change happens. It doesn't happen through the mind. As everybody knows, you probably looked in a mirror or you've read about your daily empowerment statement practices. I look at myself in the mirror and I say, Sam, you are a sexy, powerful man. All the chicks dig you and you're going to be a millionaire. And I look at myself and I pump myself up. And what happens? You say that for a week, your subconscious knows you're lying. Your subconscious knows you're lying because there's a dark side to that as well. So how do we start to change? Now, why do we want to be more in our body? What's the use of learning more about what we feel? Because let's say we're here for women. Okay, we want to meet women, we want to approach women, we want to talk to women, we even want to fall in love with a woman. If she can't feel you, you're a talking head in front of her. So why do we become talking heads? Because all the suppressed emotions that are pushed down deep inside of our bodies is saying, oh, fuck, you got to think of something to say. Think of something to say. Hey, nice weather today. You going to buy those avocados? They look right. and now or hey, I think you're really sexy. Now you can feel like I'm just squeezing all of my energy right out the top of my head. A woman, if you have a good heart, will entertain you for a moment, or she'll cut you free, but she's not going to she's not going to stop and say there's something different about him. When you are embodied in a way, whether it's through your heart or your stomach, or, what your power is, or your your sexual energy, if she can't feel any of those, you're kind of disposable. Now, you're probably a nice guy, and if all your energy goes into your head, she'll probably give you the time of day, and she might give you your phone number, but that is probably as far as it goes. Years ago, before I started this work, I learned how to approach women. I was really in my heart, of course, all my energy, because I was afraid, squeezed to the top of my head. And I would get phone numbers. This is embarrassing. The women didn't know that I was asking them out on a date. That's kind of embarrassing to admit here. So I had to learn to go deeper into my body, away from my head, down into my heart, and open the whole front of my body. So that's a little bit about embodiment. Again, talking about it doesn't really make a lot of sense, because talking is the opposite of what we want to practice. But I'll give you an idea of what the workshop, how it flowed, and the kind of results. We have some of the students who are in the course here, and they can speak up about their experience. And because really at the end of this, I want you guys to have some sort of practice that you can do to take into the world and try out in the world. So the very first day in the workshop, by the way, I did not coach this workshop. Brian coaches it primarily with the coaches as support, but I didn't even support. I had the great opportunity to be a student for 6 days. I was an absolute student. I opened my big coaching mouth a few times, but I was really in this receiving mode. So this is all fresh for me, and I'm pretty excited about it. The first thing that we tackled, besides this, the understanding of all the energy centers and the chart of emotions. By the way, if anybody, that's my email there right up front. If anybody wants some of the things I'm talking about, the chart of emotions is the sheet from apathy to acceptance and peace, of all the ways you can feel. It's a really great document. So send me an email, and I will get that to you. The first thing, of course, is we learned how to be grounded. And it's crazy. The first thing we did was we sat down, and I could ask some of the students in a bit. I'm going to bring you guys in a second. We started with our feet. Now, the sensation of being grounded this is an idea that I can share with you. It's like and you can actually, by the way, anytime you guys, I cannot see you, but if you want to stand up and try any of these practices while we're talking, I'm going to stand up and try a few things. So feel free to do that. You can type in the chat what your experiences are. But the experience of grounding is there's many ways to describe it. One way to describe it is like your feet are suction cupped to the ground. Or imagine standing up and feel down, through your feet, as if you could look right down through your feet into the ground. Another image that one guy said, it's like I have roots that go down my legs, down the backs of my legs, down the bottom of my feet, and plant me in the ground. Now, when I first started doing this a few years ago, I was getting grounded, but I just felt heavy. It's not a bad place for me to start, because I was really, really light. I felt heavy, and what I wasn't doing, I wasn't allowing the earth energy to come right back up the front of my legs and fill my body. You have to understand the earth is where things grow. The energy of the earth is an energy which both pulls us down, it's gravitational all the way down to the core of the earth, but it's also, this is where plants grow, this is where ideas grow, this is where a change happens in the world. This is our physical world. So when it really helped me to imagine roots growing down, but this time I really got it. I really felt this idea of being suction cupped to the earth, while at the same time allowing Igor, I see your question. I'll get to it a little bit later. Allowing this energy to come right back up the sides of your legs. So if anybody here, we'll just try it. I'll show you a little bit. So can't see my whole body here, but if your legs, see if you can see this. This is the way I was like 4 or 5 years ago. All my energy, see if I can squeeze my energy. Oh, it's really hard. It's really hard to get ungrounded now. I'll just exaggerate. Mine was up here. Like I'd meet a girl, I go, oh, hi, I'm Sam, hi. It's like, I was like this floating head. And as I started to lean, and you guys try this at home, to feel the backs of your legs. This is the masculine part of your legs. This is where your or the back or the sides. Feel that energy go right down through the bottom of your feet. When you're grounded to a woman, you are in the world of safe. Not safe in terms of, oh, he's a nice guy, but I can count on the sense of trustworthiness. I can count on him. So one great practice is, if you're standing up right now, and you can try it yourself, is to squeeze your toes and claw into the ground. In fact, you can feel it when you do that. Your legs naturally will tighten up. And even as I'm squeezing my toes, my legs are getting tight, and even my asshole is getting tight, or your perineum, which is between your balls and your asshole. It's all getting tight. It's not, but to practice is to be conscious and intentional about it, is a way to, so when you let it go, you can feel yourself go down. Often when you're in experience, well, guys are trying to learn how to feel their body. We'll have them actually just say hello from different parts of their body. So if I said hello to you from my head, I walk up to a girl and I'd say, from my head entirely, I would go, oh, hi. You see, I'm nice. I'm really safe. I'm too safe. Or if you drop down a little bit and drop down through your throat, and feel your heart. There's this warmth here. Once you really start to feel your heart, it may feel a little sad, which is, you're on the right track. This is your juicy part. This is where you connect to other human beings. And so a hello might be, just as I said it there, hi, I feel you, I can connect with you. If you're down in your stomach, this is your third chakra. This is where your power, your self-esteem is. So a hi would be more hi. Hi, I'm here. And if you're down in your balls, well, you can imagine what a hi would be like there. Don't want to do it further now. So your feet, your grounding. Oh, I'm going to share something because where's Dan? Dan, are you? Hey, Dan. I want to call you in because I know that you had Dan was one of the students, and I'm going to call you up here, Dan. See the top of your head. There you go, bud. That we can't hear you. If you're talking, I can't hear you. Sorry, bud. Cannot hear you. While Dan's figuring it out, keep trying, Dan. When I get volume from you, I will help you. I will jump in. That had a big realization as we were walking around one day at lunch during the workshop, and this idea of being suctioned to the ground was really powerful for you. And I'm afraid we're still not getting any volume out of you. No. Well, Dan, I'll keep you there, and when I can hear you, I'll talk to you. So that's your feet. This is why do we want to be grounded? Because it's the farthest place from our heads. It is, and I think if any of you guys have been out in the street and you've gotten drummed up the courage to talk to a girl, your first thought is, what do I say? What do you say? Or if you see a friend of yours go talk to a girl, what's the first question you ask? What'd you say? When you're embodied, when you are down in your body, when you can feel this lower energy, you just know what to say, or what you say you learn doesn't matter. You can, if you are down lower in the body and you're talking about, are the avocados ripe? Depending where you are in your body, it can be, all right, Dan will come back. Depending on where you are in your body, it can be a friendly conversation that she will presume is the man wants to talk about avocados. But if you say fear in your heart, it's going to feel like you're talking about avocados, but it feels warmth. There's a little connection. And if you drop down into your balls and you start talking about avocados, well, you're not talking about avocados anymore. Somebody said yes, talking about the chakras. It's all energy. So that's a practice you can do. If you stood on your feet every day, felt down the backs of your legs, right down through the soles of your feet into the ground, you will find that the sensation of being grounded is a sensation of life is slowing down. You just naturally become less reactive. I was in the LA airport, big 7-hour delay because we had storms up here in San Francisco, and everybody was tense, and this guy tried to pick a fight with me. I was just sitting on the ground, and he told me I was where his wife was sitting. I moved, and he still wouldn't get on my face. And 4 or 5 years ago, I would have, I would apologize. I would have gone away. I say, but I just felt my energy go down to the ground. He wasn't going to beat me up. I wasn't in danger. But everything just got really slow. I did get a little reactive. I did yell at some point when he was giving me some beef, what's your problem? That kind of escalated things, but I could have just felt even more deeply. And he ended up going away. So when you're grounded, you can sidestep all kinds of issues and problems, because most issues and problems are begging for you to react. They're begging for you to react. Your whole ego is saying, God, if you react, you're going to turn this into something else that it doesn't need to be. I know when I'm in my body and I'm out approaching, like with some, the students, or with Anthony, by the way, Anthony's really fun to go out talking to girls with, that you just walk up to, when you're in your body, you walk up to a woman without a plan. And you just stand there. Sometimes you just stand there. And as Anthony has this great story that he sees this woman on the street, and he just stands in front of her and just looks at her. She goes, what are you doing? Anthony was really grounded, really in his heart, really in his turn on. And he just said, I can't remember the word he used. I'm just taking you in. And the story is they sat and stared at each other for 15 minutes. So that's what happens when you're grounded. Let me say, hey, Shivam, you want to jump in a little bit and talk about where we are? Okay, I'm going to click you over.
Sure, I can chat for a bit.
Yeah, Shivam was just in it. He had a great workshop. I've been yakking for a while. Anything come to mind? Something that might help these guys.
Yeah, I'm seeing some posts about how do you feel in your body? How do you relate that to the grounding? And some are coming up as if you're focusing too much and you're forcing feeling. Yeah, I can chat about that. So in my experience, you don't really want to force a feeling. you kind of want to zoom out and just enjoy your body. Start from your toes, go to the balls of your feet, work your way up to the back of your legs, to the outside of your legs, all the way through. And if you start feeling like a release or something going on, and you start focusing on it, then as soon as that happens, in my experience, it just goes away. Like, oh, I'm searching that feeling. I'm chasing for it now. When you kind of want to focus on opening your heart, relaxing, and just enjoying exploring your body.
So why would, and this might be, you're talking about really one of the core things that we teach is how to feel. Why would a guy want to learn how to feel?
That's a great question. If, let's say, a guy doesn't feel and is trying to communicate, we can use the example that you gave of communicate with women. This could also be applied to your work life or anything, really. When you're trying to communicate with somebody, if they don't feel your presence, that information is going to be received. It's going to be received completely different than potentially how you intended it. In my experience before all of the fearless work, I was coming off as cold and demanding and just straight up an asshole of, damn, this dude's a dick. He just keeps telling us what to do. And after the work, I've been seeing better results with people actually listening and heeding my advice, or taking my advice and heeding my warnings, because they understand that I'm speaking to them from a place of love or from a place of warmth, and I'm genuinely trying to help them. So that communication line is critical, or at least, excuse me, you need to establish feeling in your heart. And for me in particular, that was very difficult to just make sure that my heart was open while I was communicating with these people, and receiving them in, seeing how they're receiving the information, or, oh, okay, I think you're feeling attacked right now, and that's not my intent, and just being genuine with them.
Yeah. One of the benefits, one of the immediate benefits I got out of the fearless work was just saying no and having my no mean something. I remember my life was, if a panhandler or a homeless person came up and wanted money from me, I'd say no, and they wouldn't go away. And within like a few months of doing fearless work, I would just say no, and they just disappeared. Because I wasn't shoving it at them through my head. It was just clear and grounded. What was the yeah, go ahead.
Right. The big one for me was at the end of the double, really adjusting to my new reality of walking up to women and talking to them for either an indirect or a direct, and them just stopping and engaging with me. And it was like, is this me? I'm not, I have this vision of myself as not the guy that walks up to people and just engages with them and they stop and they actually acknowledge me and receive me. And that was very eye-opening with regards to feeling your body, grounding, opening your heart, and just communicating with people.
Yeah. And this past week, I've only started talking about grounding. We covered the whole rest of the body and how it can change your life. Is there one part of the workshop or something that you can share with these guys that might help them out to be more embodied?
The second chakra, and really feeling in your lower back. You know, that's Sam's smiling because we spent a good deal of time on that in the workshop, because we were really struggling to just get that conduit established. If nothing's happening and you can't feel in your lower back, in your mid back, then none of the energy is going to start flowing from your legs up to your turn on, up to your heart, and let that flow from the back of your body up and down through the front of your body.
I'm really glad you brought that up, because we often talk about, the second chakra, and even I was harboring a misconception that the second chakra is our cock and balls. which is half of it.
Mm-hmm.
The front of our bodies, for you guys, is where our feelings are. This is our feminine side, our heart, our stomach, our balls, our sex. This is, if it's feeling, it's feminine. Not saying one's masculine like man and woman, but this is our feeling side. What Shivam was talking about is our masculine parts of our third of our hearts, the back of our hearts, the solidity, the groundedness of a heart. From our back, we can feel, our power. That's where our power from our thirds, our stomach, really comes from. What you're talking about is our sacrum, which is the masculine part of our turn on. And it really got clear to me. The things that we did, you're right. We spent 3 days just feeling that, working off that part of our back.
Mm-hmm.
For anybody who, watch basketball or football and just turn it to slow motion and watch where their center of balance is, where they're making decisions from. It's not from their heads. It's entirely intuitively from, that's what's, the second chakra, from their sacrum, from the back of their body. You can see them move off of that.
Mm-hmm.
Here, let me, Pat, is Pat there? Pat. Pat was here. He's not here. So I'll give you guys, while we're talking about the second, I'll give you guys who are watching, and then we'll take a pause and take some questions about feeling this part of your back. And let me see, I can do it over here. The part of the body we're talking about, of course, you got your turn on. This is where guys who show up at bars and they're just like, their cock energy. And to women, this cock energy can be creepy. We had a client who was struggling. He had a lot of cock energy and a lot of head energy, but there wasn't anything in between. So it was this kind of like, I want to fuck you, I want to fuck you energy. He didn't say that, but that's what it felt like to women. So you start to feel everything all the way down here. It starts to work really well. What we're talking about is not just the turn on in front of the body, it's the masculine frame. It's this part of your body here, right, Shivam? We spent days here.
Yeah.
One way to really explore, I love this one that Brian talked about, is you just put your feet 2 or 3, the wall. We spent a lot of time against the wall. Put your feet about 2 feet out from the wall. Bend your legs, and let me get rid of this caption so you can see. So if you are here against the wall, now you can start to explore in feeling, just in pressure of this part of your body. First, it doesn't feel like you're doing anything, but you can explore, you can dig it in, you can tilt your hips up. This really, I don't know. Did you have the same sensation, Shivam, that this exercise was really, really sticking you to the ground?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I would peel off from some of the other exercises and just pop on the wall. Like, I'm not feeling my second right now.
Yeah.
Just check in and reawaken that.
Yeah. So from the side, you're working it. By the way, for anybody where you give your intention, this is what activates stuff. So it's not just me like digging my hips into the wall. It's really giving this awareness and really allowing the feeling to come to me. And as you explore, you can actually peel yourself up and explore your third from the back, which is here. Back here, the back of your heart. Talk about that, and then you can explore all the way up to your crown chakra. My experience coming back, I felt so grounded after that workshop. The first 2 days, I got back to San Francisco and was doing my stuff, and we swear to God, people were looking at me. They're just looking. They were like looking at me, like, wow, this is weird. Everybody's looking at me. I'm not doing anything. People are starved for this kind of calm energy in the world.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true.
I have here, I'm going to do one other demonstration. This is another, so that's one exercise that you guys can do. I'm going to.
Sam, could you take off the split screen? It might be easier for the guys to see you.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Chief. Wave your hand if you want to, or throw something in the chat if you got something else to say. Thanks for jumping in.
Will do.
So this is what we also played around a lot on, which is the Swedish ball. Now, if you want feedback how your body is connected to the earth or not, you can sit on one of these. Now, the first test, so this, it gives you feedback. So you are actually moving on the ball. You can actually feel your energy ground through each leg through the ball. When I first, he said, now on these balls, you can bounce on the ball. So I got on the ball the first time and I'm just bouncing like, oh yeah, I like this, bouncing on the ball. Can you feel my energy just shooting up out of the top of my head? It's like childish energy. We walk around, especially to those of us who are nice guys, have this kind of like pop, 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 pop. There's no feeling to it. After 3 or 4 days, I started really feeling my feet suction cup to the ground. I realized I could still bounce on the ball. It has a totally different feel, which is, so I can do it. I can feel my feet are sticking to the ground. I lost it. And the ball is bouncing me. This is a way to feel. I really recommend getting one of these, exploring, opening up your bottom of your just relaxing the bottom of your ass and your taint and your asshole, really feeling the ground just get sucked down. So those are some exercises you can do. I'm going to go jump in the chat right now and see if there's anything that that is popping up. Okay, I'm going to scroll back a little bit and see what's up. Scrolling. Okay. Yes, wise guy. Yes, we do filter and distort reality. Reality is is really entirely what we make it. And by the way, once you start getting more embodied, and deeper into feeling, you start to understand that there's two worlds out there. There's the world of form. This is our body. This is a table. This is a house. That's a girl. And but it also intersects with the world of the formless, which is energy, which is feeling. The more you drop in understanding, can feel your body, let these feelings come to you, then you start to see the world, it shimmers a little bit more, a little differently. When you start to understand that life is a feeling and not a thought, all sorts of interesting things start to happen. And by the way, in this workshop, we went all the way to manifesting stuff as we started really feeling the energy of our bodies and how it vibrated out. Well, we have some stories about what guys manifested the last 3 days of the workshop, things that they just invited into their lives and they just started showing up. And that it seems miraculous, seems like a coincidence, but if one of our guys, Dom, who's been struggling, he's been working on his BJJ black belt for 5 years, and he had a very clear image of finally receiving his black belt, getting the final. I don't know how, he just got back to London 2 days ago and sent us a photo of him with a black belt. It's the craziest thing. He just invited it through deep feeling and inviting it to happen. This is the power that we have over our lives. Devin asks, so how do I let the feelings, Devin asked this, I'll put it as that. Also, how do I let the feelings come to me, as Brian always puts it, because I want to be embodied, but I don't want to force myself to do it. There's a book that you might want to read, which is called The Surrender Experiment. It is all about a man who surrendered, accepted, received everything that the universe was bringing, was showing him, offering him. And rather than fighting it and saying, no, 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 I don't want to, I want to be alone. You keep showing me all these people. Rather than fighting against these people, he allowed and received them. It is a fascinating story, true story of a man's life who over and over surrendered to what was. His will was only there to navigate, but not to say no. Letting the feelings come, to feel, you don't have to try to feel. If I'm sad, if I allow myself to feel sad, I'm sad. Where's my sadness? I got to get to my sadness. Whereas it's there someplace, and now you're actually shutting off that. It takes practice. You could walk down the street and just say, okay, I'm going to walk down the street every day and receive everything as it comes to me, as I feel it through all my senses. Let it flow into my body rather than there's a tree, there's a car. What's that noise? See how I'm pushing on it. If you just spent a week or two, it'd be interesting to find out later on, Devin, if that experiment, it helped. I spent a week just walking around thinking, what does everything make me feel? I went down, I was like, there's a sidewalk. Sidewalk makes me angry. That doesn't make any sense. Why would a sidewalk make me angry? It doesn't make any sense. But I stopped trying to rationalize and just say, okay, it just makes me angry. This practice over and over again can really, can be really eye-opening. And you might start feeling things that you don't want to feel. All right, you guys, we got 10 more minutes. I'm going to scroll back. I'm sure I missed some. And talking, you don't have someone who. All right, I'm going through. So, Devin also says, possibility to feel your body while not trying to. Oh, okay, yes. Like, what do you mean by letting the feeling come to you? It's as simple as that. I get this question because when I started, even more and more in my practice, I realized I was pushing on the world, trying to make change, trying to make things happen, talk to that girl. It's this old habit of mine because I didn't want to feel all the things that were that I was experiencing. But to start to allow things to come to me is still part. I haven't mastered it. Thing is I started getting into this because I started asking what is confidence, what is power? Well, if you're not able to receive, and I'm sure some of you guys have done this. I've got my to-do list. I'm going to spend January. Here's my resolutions. I'm going to punch through them. I'm going to change my life. And then after 3 or 4 weeks, everything falls apart. It's not your willpower. You just don't know how to receive the gifts that you are creating by your efforts. If you are just pushing, creating, pushing, trying, nothing's coming back to you to give you energy, to give you love. The how-to, well, this is why we have workshops. This is why we have workshops. Give that practice, the receiving practice. I think Brian calls it the heart opening, a heart walk. Just to let things in through your heart. It's a great start. Yeah, Igor, the ag flap cap chart, email me and I'll get you a copy. In fact, anybody wants it can email, and I'll put it up before the end of the call. All right. Yeah, Devin, also, good question. Devin, squeezing your toes is really useful. You could feel your legs, but I'm having a hard time focusing on it. Again, we are back in the world of allowing, receiving, being almost like this curiosity, because you are both the scientist and the experiment at the same time. So if you try squeezing your feet, at some point you have to stop searching for the feeling that you think it's gonna happen. And again, you allow, you relax, you deepen, and then you receive the information that the experiment is offering you. All right, I'm going to jump down. I just saw one. This is what I'll do. I'm going to work back. I have to work backwards because my thing. Yeah. All right. Ease and delight, Zen style, can be felt in the body while grounded. Right. Yes. Okay. For you guys, Zen Perion is a friend of ours, and he, the ease of delight, and he brings a very different type of energy. If any of you have read The Alabaster Girl, and I totally suggest that you do. It's a beautiful book that will just make you appreciate women in ways that you never knew they could be appreciated before. Read that book. It's filled with that delightful energy, that feeling, that flow, like look how beautiful you are, look how we are together, this upper energy. Read the book for the lower energy. The book is rooted in this lower grounded energy. If we aren't grounded or embodied, our emotions are just, they're kind of a mess. We're all over the place. You feel your back, your masculine side, to allow your feminine feeling side to flow, to open, to flower, to reach out to people, to have women fall in love with you. We got 5 more minutes. I'm going to go through some of the earlier comments. I hope this is helping you guys. Really, in the end, this is about your basic authenticity, not just as a man, but as a human being. And if you are here to learn about women or how to approach women, we could give you, and as you guys have probably seen many videos and read books, here's 5 things to say, how to text, well, the thing. This is, we don't teach any techniques. Occasionally we might suggest a thing to say, but that's only if we feel that if you're grounded and you just need one little anchor to get you across, so your mind can stop thinking. My whole dating life changed after this work. The seeking, the striving, the trying to be, the trying to charm. I don't know. I was doing my best. I was doing my best with what I knew. I'm looking through a few more texts here. Oh, good. Thanks, George, for putting that in. Well, this is about, this is pretty much wraps it up. Hold on, there's a new message. Shivam, if there's anything I'm missing, raise your hand. Otherwise, anything you want to jump in. And Shivam is saying, no, he's got it covered. The rest of the workshop, went from, our hips. We determined that, our lower back, that was a key one for me. That you start to feel it, once you start to feel like your heart, again, you talking to women through your heart, not through an ungrounded heart. Oh, you're so pretty. Oh my God, look at you. My name's Sam. It's not going to get you anywhere. If you can feel your heart and feel it drop down where it hits your stomach, in a grounded place, you don't have to be in your turn on or the power of your third to talk to a woman, maybe in a nightclub where you have to really punch through. But if you can really feel your heart, the lower part where it intersects with your stomach, in the front and the back. That's when a woman can really feel your, I'll call it authentic sincerity as a human being. And if you're searching for something to say, if you're in that space, you can say, I really don't know what to say. And she's going to have a totally different connection with you. She's going to be really curious. All right, I'm going to answer a few more questions. How do you connect and welcome the more powerful aspects of yourself? I was just talking about that in a way. This sense of, this is a huge realization for me, because the question comes, I imagine, if I filter through my understanding of it, which is, how do I be more manly, punch through, be more counted on, all these good masculine qualities? If you aren't able to receive that, it doesn't quite make sense, except all the power you bring can be there for a moment, and then you run out of gas. If you welcome the more powerful aspect of yourself, you have to honor and welcome what the world is giving back to you in terms of energy, a woman's attention, the results that you have in the world. I want to make money. I made money. There's money, and there's money. I'm going to put the money over there. I'm going to make more money. Well, at no point do you actually welcome in the money that will create more money. Effort does not necessarily make you more money. It's the belief and the feeling of the energy of money that brings it, that you can allow it to come to you. Jack Johnson, old school boxer, was grounded. Fuck, I bet he was grounded. By the way, if you want to learn, this is one thing. If you want to, one thing we often practice as coaches, if we're trying to figure out what's going on with a student, we're watching him in front of the models, or you're out on the street, and he's, whatever, something's going on that we can see and feel, to actually stand back and put your body in that position that you perceive their position to be. Maybe their shoulders are hunched and their back is swayed and their legs are, they're maybe closed off. To actually embody that, to copy in your body so you can feel what they feel, is very powerful. As a coach, I understand them better by doing that. If you watch a video, by the way, I'm gonna finish up in my home office because I'm running out of gas here. If you watch a movie with a great seducer, whoever you admire, try being in his body. Step back and watch him and feel him and emulate how he is. Not to copy him, but to feel deeply what he has access to in his body. It will, or here's another one, infield. If you go to infield pickup, day game, whatever videos, there's a couple of guys who are real naturals, and they're showing how they do it. And it doesn't hurt to try on their energy in your body to see what it feels like to be them and to try them. Short of a technique, if I do this, I'll get this, but as just a way of being. I think you're going to find it can start to open you up and introduce you to those energies that are already in you, which are just, blocked by suppressed energy or suppressed notions or old stories. And we'll finish with ripped up. I approached a girl, and here it is. Where is it? I approached a girl, and she got a whiff of my cologne and didn't like it, so she left. My grounding energy didn't help at that moment. Didn't help at that moment. Yeah, well, some things. If she doesn't like her cologne, I don't think chasing her with your cologne-covered body was going to help that situation. That was very funny. Anyway. If you guys have any questions, I threw up my email there on the screen. If you have any questions, want me to share any of these docs or books that we use as our Bibles that helped me a lot, that help introduce you to more feeling in your body. Send me an email and I'd be happy to send you the chart of emotions. I also have the kink list if you want to know. That's a pretty cool document to have. I'll be happy to send you anything. So that's it. Shivam, thanks for being here. Awesome having you. And I hope you guys got something out of it. Again, if you want to know about some of the practices or how we, but by the way, when if you ever take the experience, these types of teachings of energetic embodiment or revealing emotions and releasing on emotions are baked into everything we do. So the experience of taking the experience will introduce your body to these practices. And I think that would be really powerful. So if you guys want to talk about coming to a workshop, hit me up. Happy to talk to you. All right. That is the end of it. You guys have a great evening. And it's been a pleasure yakking at you for an hour. All right. Take care.